Welcome back to Change the World, and we're here with the 7th episode of AEW Tuesday Night Dynamite. This is the go-home show for Full House, so let's get straight into it. On last week's show, the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros advanced to that match at Full House. We then get the commentators introduced in the show. They address the fact that there was an injury to Rey Fenix last week, Excalibur using this to lead into an update from Phoenix and Pentagon. This advances the Tag Team Championship Tournament storyline, and that is something we're going to be doing throughout the night, as you'll see in this next segment. The Lucha Bros talk in Spanish with captions, discussing the rumours that Rey Fenix will be unable to compete at Full House due to his injury sustained last week. Phoenix then takes the lead with the promo, making it clear that he is ready for Full House and he is ready to face the Young Bucks to become the first AEW World Tag Team Champions. Not only that, Rey is going to prove his fitness tonight in a warm-up match for Full House against Matt Cross. Wow, an A-star 100 segment, very much a surprise, did not see that coming. Kenny Omega comes down to the ring with the AEW Men's World Championship over his shoulder. Alex Mavs is ready in the ring, he's going to interview him. Tonight both champion and challenger will be interviewed in the ring ahead of AEW's Full House event. Omega is given free reign to promote the match and does a masterful job clearly. He talks about Pac's crusade against and multiple victories against the other members of the Elite. He refutes Pac's claim that the company was designed and built around him to be a success. Kenny will say that everybody has been given the same opportunities since AEW began, and there was no excuses for Pac when Omega beat him at All Out. Once again promoting the pay-per-view, Omega will finish the interview putting over his first singles match since he became the Men's World Champion, and that match will take place at Full House. That has continued Pac's championship ambition storyline and added to the heat tremendously, I'd imagine. That took us into the first match, but unfortunately I double-clicked there, I think. I don't know what it got, obviously, but Bea Priestley defeated a local talent with a fairly one-sided dominant victory. She stands tall in the ring. It's confirmed that Bea Priestley will face Mizuki at Full House. We'll then go into a discussion from the commentators who will talk about Chris Jericho's recent actions and his open challenge for Full House. Footage will then be shown of a highlights package for AAA's El Tejano, who will be the opponent of Chris Jericho at this Saturday's pay-per-view in Houston. This leads into a scheduled interview with Chris Jericho, who is currently in Orlando, Florida. They put over that somebody has been flown out by AEW to speak to Chris Jericho, but when we send over, it's an empty interview set. We're using Tanea Brooks just because I had to hire local because I didn't get anybody for the interviewer role beforehand. The interviewer is shown on screen, somewhat confused, attempting to contact Chris Jericho. She gets no answer off her phone when a voice off camera tells her to check Instagram. The interviewer explains that a post had just been posted at the very moment, which shows Chris Jericho out elsewhere, partying, having a good time. She disappointedly explains that they will try to continue to get into contact with Chris Jericho, but he has officially no-showed the interview. We're going to the second match of the night, Darby Allin defeating Sonny Kiss in 11 minutes 12 with a coffin drop. Sammy Guevara and the other members of the Fringe will be at ringside, a 48 for Darby Allin, a 38 for Sonny Kiss. We just wanted Darby Allin to get a win. Since he's come in, he's been in the tag team with Jimmy Havoc and they've just been losing, but Darby Allin's doing so well on the independent scene in the game that we're really going to have to start putting something behind him and building a push for him. After the match, Darby Allin is joined by Priscilla Kelly and Jimmy Havoc, the three members of the Fringe standing tall in the ring. In the background, we do see that Sammy Guevara is giving some advice and pointers to Sonny Kiss, but there's a hint of discontent with how firm Sammy is being with his friend. We then get a candid sit-down interview with Brandy Rhodes. It's in that Road to Double or Nothing style again. She talks about AEW Full House on Saturday, which will take place in Houston, Texas. Brandy will continue to tease the signing of new female performers to the AEW roster before receiving a call during the interview. She'll talk to somebody who will be here next week and tell the person that they have a lot of tough calls to make. During the conversation, the AEW World Tag Team Championships will seemingly come up in conversation, as Brandy will say, "The World Tag Team Championships? Don't you mean the Men's World Tag Team Championships?" The call will then end with Brandy Rhodes giving a nod and a wink with a massive hint of Women's World Tag Team Championships coming soon. We'll then get an in-depth video package looking at how the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks became the finalists of the AEW Tag Team Championship Tournament, each beating two teams on the way to that match at Full House. The final match of the first hour really not going well, especially with Nyla Rose putting in a 27, Tessa Blanchard defeating Nyla Rose in 11:26. The story of the match, Nyla Rose is overpowering Tessa Blanchard, but she refuses to give up, and eventually her technicality is enough for her to beat Nyla Rose with a hammerlock DDT. After the match, Tessa will stand tall, celebrating her victory, a long, competitive match. As Blanchard stands tall in the ring, Ivelisse Velez will come out to the top of the ramp, which annoys Tessa Blanchard, who doesn't want to see her. The commentators will put over the fact that they will face at Full House. Ivelisse will tell Tessa Blanchard that she has never faced anybody like her before in AEW, saying there's a reason that the fans don't like Ivelisse, and there's a reason that Ivelisse isn't popular in the... Ivelisse will then tell Tessa that she has never faced anybody like her before in AEW, saying there's a reason that the fans don't like Velez, and there's a reason that she isn't popular in the locker room. Velez will say that she has a bad attitude, and she won't hesitate in showing it at Full House. Returning to the second hour of the show, the commentators will discuss what happened in the show so far, including the opening interview with Kenny Omega. They'll also discuss Chris Jericho's no-show when somebody was flown out to speak to him in his hometown. This leads into the interview with Pac coming up next. Pac comes down to the ring, obviously, unsurprisingly, in a foul mood ahead of his interview with Alex Marvez. He reiterates his issues with the Elite, saying that he's the only one with the guts to call them out because AEW is run by the Elite. Responding to Kenny Omega's words from earlier, Pac says that only a complete moron would claim that all Elite wrestling wasn't set up to be the perfect environment for Kenny Omega and his friends. That person would be either a moron or a liar. But that won't affect Pac going into Full House, providing that none of those Elite hangers-on get involved in the match. AEW is the billionaire's playground of Kenny Omega and his buddies, but on Saturday, he will bring that party to a screeching halt. 65 rating, not quite on the level of Kenny Omega, but a decent segment, and we're just continuing Pac's storyline of him being the outspoken anti-Elite guy in AEW. We then get a video package looking at the rivalry between Joey Janela and MJF. This goes back a long way to the first ever AEW press conference. They will finally face off tonight after Cody's attempts to get the match postponed failed. Match number 4 is the match that Joey Janela's been waiting for, but in 10 minutes 46 he is defeated by MJF by count out. It says he was attacked by Cody there. That's not the case, but Cody's presence at ringside does arguably play a factor. Joey Janela takes a big dive on the outside to MJF, but he's knocked onto the guardrail. This knocks him out. MJF rolls into the ring, and this allows him to get the victory, albeit not in a decisive manner. After the match, Cody joins MJF in the ring after his count out victory against Joey Janela. Marty Scurll and Hangman Page. Hangman should be on screen. I've messed up there, but pretend Hangman is on the screen there. They come out from the back. The commentator's putting over the match. They come out from the back. The commentator's putting over their match against MJF and Cody at Full House. Scurll once again has his eyes on MJF, while Hangman faces off with Cody. There is a clear tension until Hangman Page extends his hand to Cody, who smiles and shakes the hand. Marty Scurll does the same, speaking in Cody's ear, and it looks like they're trying to put their issues behind them ahead of that match. Loosen up a little, with a smile on his face, the smug MJF will also extend his hand, expected to be afforded the same gesture from his Full House opponents. Marty and Hangman will look at each other, and then look at MJF, laughing at him before exiting the ring, MJF left standing. The commentators then give an update on the interviewer who was flown out to speak to Chris Jericho in the hopes of getting an interview with him. They say that Chris Jericho's agent has contacted AEW and told them that Chris Jericho will not be taking part in the interview. Don Callis says that despite that, he received a personal text message from Chris Jericho during the break, which stated that he would be in Houston on Saturday for Full House, and he'd use El Tejano as the next evidence of his GOAT status. Prior to the next match, Britt Baker comes out. She briefly speaks to Alex Marvez, saying that she has taken a front row seat to get some last minute scouting on Madison Eagles before Full House. Madison Eagles then defeats a local talent, beating her in 4 minutes 21 with a Heaven Sent, a squash match, one-sided. Madison Eagles getting a 61 there, so very, very good. The jobber that we brought in doing not so bad. Better than certainly some of the full-time member rosters we have, so kind of shows the level that we're working with. But that's a D plus 49, and hopefully we can get a bit better than that for the pay-per-view match. After the match, Madison Eagles stands tall, watching from ringside. Britt Baker gets to her feet, raises the AEW Women's World Championship, a fairly standard segment. We then get a graphic and commentary putting over that following the main event, the Young Bucks will have an announcement about the AEW World Tag Team Championships match at Full House. This will be followed by the footage of the rivalry between the two, taken back to the Las Vegas rally back in February. This is what started the rivalry really. Penta and Phoenix cut off the Young Bucks and jumped their Full House opponents. They took them out on that stage in Las Vegas, and since then, the two have been in a heated rivalry. In the main event, Rey Fenix proves his fitness, defeating Matt Cross in 12 minutes and 56 in a C- 57 rated match. Not great, there wasn't much heat, it had decent wrestling. Both men getting the exact same rating, but hopefully the segments early in the night can push this show to above our broadcaster requirements. If not, we may be in trouble. After the match, Phoenix is joined by Penta, the two standing tall, ready for the Young Bucks. Nick and Matt come out, taking a microphone as they enter the ring. Building up to the announcement, the Young Bucks put over their match at Full House and the history between the two, but also point out the respect that they have for their Full House opponents. Matt says that their goal in AEW was to take tag team wrestling to a level that it's never been, admitting that without teams like the Lucha Bros, that wouldn't be possible. What's more, without a team at this level, they wouldn't be able to make the following announcement. The Young Bucks then confirm that the first ever AEW World Tag Team Championships match will be in the main event of Full House. They then extend their hands to the Lucha Bros, putting over this huge moment, who accept, only to be hit by super kicks from Nick and Matt Jackson. Going full circle for Full House from that incident 10 months ago, the commentators put over that Nick and Matt Jackson will face Pentagon and Phoenix in the main event of Full House to become the first AEW World Tag Team Champions. So there it is, the go-home episode of Tuesday Night Dynamite before the Full House event this Saturday. A good 71 C+ rating, obviously helped by segments like Kenny Omega's incredible interview earlier in the night. With ratings like that, we will have to see if putting the tag team titles in the main event proves to be the right call. Also, I have one small correction. Bea Priestley actually beat Penelope Ford, not a local talent in the opening match of the night. But there it is, Tuesday Night Dynamite, and coming very, very soon from Houston, Texas, AEW Full House.